So the reason that my message today is short is because I grew up in a Baptist church. So I see some hands, okay. So in the Baptist church and in my church, in a small place in the South, no air conditioning, the sermons would go on forever. It was just amazing what people could talk about and how long they could talk during those summer hot days with no air conditioning. So today, because of that, this is going to be very short. So, she said we have air conditioning. So Eddie Watkins Jr. wrote a song that stated, "We are the place where God shows up." Remember that song? Yes. And in the book, The Infinite Way, Joel Goldsmith explained it in greater detail. He writes, "We are the place where God becomes visible." Think of that. Doesn't it give you chills? Take a deep breath. We are in the place. We are the place. We are the center for spiritual living. We are the place where God shows up. So you as an individual, you, me, we are the place where God shows up. Look around. You're looking at God. You're looking at places where God shows up. Magnificent. Beautiful. Our source, that which constitutes us, is God. We are God being. We are God appearing. And we are God manifesting. All we have to do is to allow this to become our reality. So we are ready, right? We are ready to become the being that can imagine and then become all of this. Are we ready? When we allow this truth to become our reality, then we are enlightened, or we are illumined. This is who we are. This enlightenment is ours, given freely. This is the grace, the amazing grace. This is the amazing grace that saves and sets us free. True freedom only comes through grace, the grace of the Almighty. Grace is the givingness of the Spirit to its creation. Grace is. All we have to do is recognize it. We are saved by grace to the extent that we believe in it, accept it, embody it as the law of our lives. The law of good, the law of grace, the law of freedom. No limits. That's what grace is. My mother used grace that suited her in her own way, in her beliefs. Now, I wanted her to use grace in a different way. I wanted a better house, more clothes, a car, a better car. I wanted those kinds of things. My mom didn't see grace that way. When my baby sister was born, she had these growths under her tongue. And when you are poor, you don't understand how frightening something like that is to a family. But my mother used to listen to the radio, and we would listen to these speakers like Oral Roberts or Reverend Ike. Remember Reverend Ike? So one Sunday, Reverend Ike said to touch the radio as I pray and touch that person. And my mom, with her faith, with her grace, prayed along with Reverend Ike as she touched my sister and touched the radio. And those growths disappeared in a few days, never to return. That's the way my mom used grace. Now, like I said, I wanted something different, but that's the way grace works. She believed in grace, and she was illumined by it. She wanted a closer walk in the grace of the Father. Somewhere deep within, my mom knew that God's grace flowed out from all of us into the world as an invisible presence and an invisible power that poured out blessings through us. It couldn't be used up. I think my mom thought it could be used up. So she used it sparingly. But today, we don't have to do that. It can't be used up. Grace is limitless. The words of the song Amazing Grace are the life reflections of John Newton. He was a slave trader who nearly died in a shipwreck. He eventually became a minister. And once those reflections were written into a song, it became Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. We don't have wretches anymore. We know that God made no wretches. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. But it's this verse. 'Twas grace that taught my soul to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. That's the amazing grace. No matter who you think you are, no matter what is happening in the world, know that the infinite Spirit is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. If we believe in these teachings, no matter what the world brings to our door, that spiritual illumination reveals to us that we are not mortals. We are pure spiritual beings. We are pure spiritual beings, divine consciousness, self-sustaining life, all-inclusive mind. Scary. No, those tingles are the excitement of the truth. That's how the truth feels. Wallow in it. Let it consume you with love and warmth and good and all of those things that Marilyn talked about this morning in the meditation. We are illumined. We walk without fear. We walk by grace. There is but one consciousness, that is God. We individualize this omnipotent, omniscient consciousness. Therefore, our consciousness is the ever-present help in every circumstance. every circumstance, no matter what we see on the news, doesn't matter. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thy grace. As I come close to my close, I want us to remember that God is our unchanging support in all times. The past, right now, and in the future. We are the place where God becomes visible. We are the Word made flesh. Our source, that which constitute us, is God, infinite divine being, infinite. We each have an Aladdin's lamp. We don't have to rub it and limit it to 3 wishes. We simply turn within into the silence and we listen. We take classes, we come to workshops, we come to services on Sunday mornings and all kinds of other times of the week, so that within a moment's notice, we can become one. We can become one with the source that is necessary for harmony and success, for all of those to flow into our lives. So we can learn to live in joy, wonderful health, and success, because God's good and God's grace are all within our very being. We are made in the image and likeness of the Creator. We stand on holy ground when we are realizing God. Holy ground. So as we become more and more illumined, as we live deeper and deeper in grace, we're always on holy ground. God is. Grace is. Let us pray. God is good. God is limitless in its love. God is the Creator that made us, each of us, in His image and likeness. God is eternal. I am the place where God becomes visible. Each of us is that place. Every place where God is realized. I speak my word for the authentic realization of the One. My Aladdin's lamp is my center, my love, my kindness, my everlasting reservoir of good. My cup runneth over. I am illumined. I walk without fear. I walk in the grace. I am so grateful for this teaching. I am so grateful for the magnificent fashion of knowing the infinite intelligence. God is. Grace is. I release this prayer into the law where it is done. It is done right now. as it was done yesterday, it is done now. And so it is.